welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be planting my potatoes. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment and also my home kitchen. Well, it's really getting started now. There's lots of things I can be getting in. I've already got my onions in and now I'm putting my potatoes in today. Now I've already chitted my potatoes, and if you don't know how to chit, I do have a useful video on that so you know what you're doing. So when you're chitting, what you're looking for is like little stumpy shoots. You don't want the big long ones, so these are absolutely perfect. Now some people rub, if they've got lots of eyes on the potatoes, they rub them off, but that's only really if you want lots of large potatoes. Now these are Charlotte potatoes, the salad potatoes, so these are first earlies. Now these, you want lots of little potatoes, so the last thing you would do would be to rub the shoots off, in my opinion. So I'm going to be planting them exactly how they are. So if we come over, I've dug a couple of trenches here. So I've dug trenches. Now they say to dig your trenches about at least 15 centimetres deep, and to plant about 50 centimetres apart. So I'll actually say 45 centimetres and 60 that way, but if you say about 50 centimetres between each potato, that's about right. So you dig the trench nice and deeply. You can use a fork or a shovel. My husband prefers to use a shovel, or a spade. I prefer to use a fork, so each to their own. And sometimes it's handy to have both because it all depends on the consistency of the soil. So I've already dug these, and all I've got to do is just lay them in the ground. Now again, when you plant them, they say to plant the shoots facing up, but if I'm really honest with you, do you know what, that's what the textbook says, but it really doesn't matter that much. They will find their way, they will shoot, so it will be fine. So don't concern yourself with it too much. So you just lay each potato in the trench about 50 centimetres apart. So it's a really, really simple thing to grow. And your first early potatoes are one of the most tasty, rewarding things. I would expect to get these around July time, early July if I'm lucky. If not, it'll be a bit later in the month. But yeah, about 50 centimetres apart. Again, don't worry too much. You know, it's just a rough guide. So here we go. Let me grab some more potatoes. This is the tricky bit, walking over the trenches after I've dug them, because the ground's quite loose. I could end up falling in. That would be entertaining for the camera, wouldn't it? Actually, it's better if I stand here. So yeah, so pop them in like so, nice and easy. So I've got three varieties of potato that I'm planting this year. I've got my first earlies, which are my Charlotte, my second earlies, which are my Kestrel. I like Kestrel because they're a good all-rounder. You can dig them when they're small, or you can leave them in to let them swell out, and they're quite pest resistant, Kestrel, another reason why I like them. And I've also got a main crop, Picasso, which I'm not planting today, but I will get in over the next few days as well, or next few weeks I should say. I'm probably not going to get them all in that trench, so I'll have to wing some over into this one, so get as many in as I can. So like I say, really simple. One thing you must do is you must mark them so you know what's where, although again it's not the end of the world. The main thing is you really do differentiate between your main crop. Your first earlies and your second earlies might come along about the same time, to be fair, but your main crop will need to be in for a lot longer, so don't get those muddled up. So, but I'll be sticking a stake in so I know where I've got to. So there we go, and then that's all that's left to do now is to cover the potatoes up. So all the earth that I dug out, I just put it over like that. Now some people literally just cover their potatoes to ground level. Let me just get some of this covered up and I'll show you what I mean. So first of all, you just obviously need to cover what you've planted and gently break up the soil a little bit. You don't want it too clumpy. Being careful not to damage any of the tubers that you've put in the ground. And remove any weeds if you see them as well. So you can just cover them up flat like that, or some people start to mound them up straight away. It's really up to you. There's no hard and fast rule. Some people swear by mounding them up as the potatoes start, the leaves start to grow through. Some people swear by mounding them up straight away. I'll leave that to your own choice, and I'll be interested to hear if other people do or don't mound up their potatoes, or like me. All depends how I'm feeling on the day. But quite honestly, normally once I've dug the potatoes and planted them, I'm so tired, to mound them up as well is just a little bit of a step too far. So if I just finish covering these up. Obviously with something like this, there's no need to water it at the moment because you're going to get plenty of water. As the season progresses on, you will need to water them if it's dry, but at the moment you just plant them in the ground and let them do what they're going to do, because they will just sprout and grow naturally. Something else I do, I've partially covered the potatoes, but I will sprinkle a little bit of organic potato fertilizer in as well, because it gives it a really good head start. So I've covered the potatoes partially. I'm going to put this in like mid-row, and then I'm going to continue covering the potatoes with some more soil. So it just gives it a little bit of an extra boost. My dad always put a bit of organic fertiliser in. You know, it's a really easy thing to get. You often find this organic fertiliser in, you know, in Wilkinson's, in pound shops. It's not a difficult thing to get hold of. So I'll just sprinkle that over. Like so. You know, I don't put it direct onto the potatoes, I prefer to put it onto the soil, and then I just get the spade and then I'll cover them up a little bit more, just so that they're more covered. So if I move over, I'll just then cover that in with more until it's ground level. So like so. This one takes a little bit of hard work. This is why anyone who's got an allotment doesn't need to go to the gym, because it's quite, you know, gives you quite a workout, shall we say. So there we go. So like I say, whether you choose to just do ground level now or mound them up as you go along, one way or another, when the shoots start to grow through, you will need to earth it up, because the potatoes will be growing in that, and if you don't do that, there's a chance you'll get green potatoes because they'll grow close to the surface otherwise. So I'm probably just going to level mine off for the day because I've had enough, and as mine shoot through, I will just gradually mound them up. So yeah, as you can tell, it's quite hard work. So I do hope that that's given you some inspiration and is going to get you planting some potatoes. Like I said, let me know what you're going to be planting, what potato varieties you choose to plant. And also, if you've got any questions or comments about sowing potatoes, then please don't hesitate to put them in the comments.